July 6th, King County Board of Meeting, Board of Education meeting will come to order. Welcome back to the first real live meeting. This means you have to be dressed. You can't be wearing your slacks, old slacks, and your tennis shoes. Also realize that social distancing, which everybody wants to use, if I hear me say physical distancing, because what we're really after is physical distancing for health. It has nothing to do with social, it has for health, and I think that has a bigger impact on people when you say it's for your health than just social distancing. So that's my explanation, just claiming for why I say social distancing is not maybe the best fit for me. I like distancing for your health. With that, thanks for coming. Appreciate you coming and trying out this new platform. Almost looks like you were afraid I was going to throw something out and you guys all scattered out so you could get away, but we appreciate you testing this out for us. For anybody online who may be watching, we appreciate your attending. So we'll move to roll call.
Present.
Present.
Yes. We'll stand with a moment of silence and pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Section 10, presentation.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight we have a presentation for you on the impact survey results. This was the survey done by the Kentucky Department of Education, and Ms. Harney is going to lead us through the presentation.
When was this done? When was it taken?
January and February, so we take it prior to school close. So obviously we get data in a lot of different ways to use towards improving our practice and our culture. And one way that we receive data is through the survey. You can see a little bit of information on the overview slide just about what it is. This is a survey that we take every other year. It's for every certified educator in the state. It's an opportunity for them to provide input on various conditions in the school for us to use to inform the school district and state improvements. And so this year, the name changed. You can see, you may remember it was formerly called the TEL survey. And this year it changed to the Impact Kentucky Working Conditions Survey. And you can see the steering committee and the groups responsible for administering the survey. And to answer the question that was just asked, it was given during January and February. And there's a total of 77 questions. So this next slide just talks about the various areas. There are 8 areas that the survey is measuring. You can see there are areas around leadership, relationships, educating all of our students, student behavior, climate, professional learning and development, feedback, coaching, and research. So as we said at the beginning, obviously we use a lot of data to inform our decisions, our practices. But this slide just talks a little bit about some areas and what research says about the impact of working conditions. And some of those areas are just that obviously teacher working conditions impact student outcomes. And that's a domino impact. You know, there's a lot of connections when folks have a good perception about the working conditions that they work in. So obviously we're going to dig into the results here in just a minute, but these results can be used. Voice is a key consideration in making school improvement. Each school will write a goal and strategies around this data in their CSIP, and we'll do the same in our CDIP. And Dr. Webb, if you'll click on the results there. This is a, it's actually a
That's all right. Yeah, I'm going back.
I did that today. Yeah. So this gives us a summary and just an overview of those 8 areas that we highlighted on the previous slide. And this shows district percentages around each of those areas. And then how we compare, that next column is how we compare it to the percentage statewide. So just a couple other pieces of information that's not included in here. We did receive 772 responses. And at that time, we had around 915 certified staff. So that was an 84% return rate that we had from our certified staff members. And each school needed to have a minimum of 10 responses and a 50% response rate in order to generate a school level report. And we are proud to say that we exceeded that. Our school percentages were anywhere from 75% completion rate to 100% completion rate. So we definitely exceeded the requirements to generate that school level report. But you can see, obviously, there's a wide range of percentages here and how we compare to the state. Just being very transparent, we always want to be above the state percentage. You see, in some areas we're not. And you know, if you scroll through the report, you can get a glimpse and an idea. It will show you actually what some of those questions we're asking in those areas. It also breaks down the response rates by subgroup, so we can show us how long a certified employee has been in the district when answering that particular question. It shows you know, various subgroups just in terms of experience or role when they're answering those particular questions. So, you know, Dr. Webb, if you would scroll back up to the top, you know, clearly an area that has stood out to us is that section right in the middle, resources. So our team here internally, we've really been digging into that to understand what exactly is that section asking. And it runs the whole gamut of resources in terms of instructional resources to improvements to your facilities and your site. And so, you know, clearly moving forward, we're going to have a process, a consistent process to support schools with really digging into this data. First and foremost, celebrating the positive pieces that this data shows us, but really picking out 1 to 2 areas that they feel like are actionable, so to speak, that they can really go to work with to improve school culture and working conditions. But this resource piece, we've really talked a lot internally about the importance of ongoing communication and education, because as an SBDM school, you may be a little bit more informed about resources or the inner workings of a facility plan. And we just want to make sure that that education and that awareness and that communication is broader and that all school staff members are clearly aware of all of the resources that are available in our schools and in our district. But certainly this data also shows us some areas that we need to have discussions and make further decisions around in that area. So at this point, this data went public at the beginning of June. And at this point, we really just asked our administrators, make sure you acknowledge that this data has gone public with your staff. We want, you know, teachers to be aware that the administrators are aware this data is out there. And when it went public at the beginning of June, we recognized that folks are off, you know, some folks are on vacation, but simply just to recognize, I know this data is out there. We're going to be circling back and having deeper conversations when everybody returns. So about at this point now in the summer, we'll be having some more intentional conversations with each school team in terms of having those conversations with their staff, celebrating again the areas that really showed some positive components to the survey, but really digging in to a couple areas that they believe are true areas that they could really take action and make some impact as it relates to their working conditions. And then obviously, like we said at the beginning, that will also turn into a goal in their CSIP that will monitor with strategies along the way. And we believe, you know, the survey is given every other year. We believe that there should be some type of regular feedback that school leadership, district leadership, that we're getting along the way prior to taking it the next time, 2 years from now, to measure how are we making growth and strides in the area that we really pinpointed as areas that we want to go work on. So, Dr. Rowe, if you want to scroll or close out of that one and go back to the.
I want to make a couple points real quick on this one. So, you know, I just want to reiterate what Shauna said. A survey is a survey. It's my interpretation of something, which is very important, at a given time. And the reason I wanted to stick with resources for just for a minute, one of the things I've learned with surveys over the years is you only know what you have context of knowing. I'll give you an example. Very few school districts in Kentucky have 6 consultants or 7 consultants that go out to schools that help with teaching and learning. But if you look at this one question right here, and I'll give you another example, technology being a need in the resource section, and we just shared with you that we went from 60 some laptops to over 9,000 in the last 3 years, or 600 over 9,000. So we just don't know that everybody knows that. But as she said, surveys are about growth. We're all about growth, so we can take this and help us even go further. But on this one question, Q10, some of these questions, and I just want to make sure everybody understands how these are worded. To me, this question is significant in the resource section. Overall, how much does your school struggle due to a lack of resources? Does not struggle at all, 12%. Struggles a little bit, 33%. Struggles some, 34%. If you add those together, that's 79% that struggles some or not at all. But yet in resources, we're 38% overall. So I just want to put that in perspective to say, while that number can look bad, it's important, as Shauna said, to break these down, celebrate the areas that we have to celebrate, identify the areas where our team tells us we need to get better at, and work to grow. And that's how we're going to use this survey. I just wanted to share that. So which section do we go back to? Okay.
You said this breaks down into different, all sorts of different stuff, whatever. But can you get like a high school one and a middle school one and elementary one just to see the difference?
We can analyze, in this report that we included, you can't drill down to see school specific, but we have access to that, and we can drill down and really see school specific information, and feeder patterns and zones. So there's a lot of different tools that they have provided us with these documents for us to really look at the data in several different ways.
And our team's doing all of that with their schools.
So this last slide just really reiterates some of the areas I want to talk about. We obviously have already shared the results with school leadership, of course, the public, so everyone has access to that right now. But, our ask was just right now for school leadership to communicate and acknowledge these results with staff. And we communicated to school leadership that we would be providing further guidance around analyzing and action planning with this information. And certainly then when they're back with their staff, they want to celebrate through everything we just talked about and just, using the process for action planning that we're going to put together, just really prioritize 1 and 2, but keeping all of this data in context. I wouldn't think the majority, some of that resource section obviously surprises us a bit, but, I wouldn't think too much of this data would be surprising. I would hope that it's congruent with some of the other data sets that they have. So I hope there aren't too many surprises here. But really just 1 or 2 areas of focus that they believe they have the ability to impact working with the teams to really strive to grow and work with the commission. And then obviously you'll see more information when we come back and start the season of CDIPs and CSIPs and how we enroll school plan strategies that come from that action planning work that they do. So any more questions do you have for us around this data or this process?
Very interesting, just looking at it on the computer, nothing compared to what you've helped us to see. Thank you.
Your comments, questions?
You said each school did have a responses that they break down for their schools, so they can look at school specific data.
Yes, they do. Every school has a school level report. We far exceeded that. We needed 50% completion rate. In our school, I think our lowest completion rate was 75%, and we had schools all the way to 100% completion rate. So every school has the report that you have here that shows our district. They have that exact report by school, and they can really draw it and slice in various different ways.
Anything else? Good report, good place to start.
Thanks, Sean. Mr. President, on the monthly reports, I would just say that be happy to entertain any questions you have. I hope you had a chance to review the energy report. Once again, it showed some pretty significant savings. We all understand why. You know, our buildings have been closed for quite a while, but that is one silver lining in the situation we've been dealing with. And the construction report, those of you that's been in Hinsdale, to see those doors go up and those walls go up, it's pretty unique. So it's going to be way different there. And Ryland with the new entrance and the secure vestibule going in, just lots of great things happen with our safety and security plan. We commend Rob and David and the entire team on that side for all the wonderful construction things occurring. And with that being said, I'd be happy to entertain any questions you may have.
I would just say, at least we were able to get some of this stuff done because of the virus by starting early, so we're in a whole lot better position on these construction projects than I think we've been since I've been on the board. So thanks for the group taking action and getting that moving ahead of time to take advantage of the situation. Appreciate that.
David, I would imagine every project's on schedule or ahead of schedule, correct?
As far as I know.
Yes. Great.
How will, what will that look like as far as construction? Has there been any guidance? Will it still be having construction happening, building, while the students are there?
Yeah, that guidance came out in the spring. Well, they actually started in the spring. They will be able to continue following healthy at work guidance. So they will be required to wear a mask and yeah. Well, construction is one of the areas that was never really shut down. It was deemed essential. So they just have been having to follow those healthy at work guidelines to this point.
Anything else? Everybody signed up for public input? Sean Bernstein?
Yes, sir. I don't know if this is going to be a parent later on in the next agenda, or where this is. But as a concerned parent, I thought it was important to come out of just kind of talk and see where you guys sat on reopening the plants for the next school year. I know there's still a lot of guidance everyone's waiting on from state level, we're living in an ever-changing world. But as a father of a child that really backslid over the course of 2 months of doing the NTI, which as a parent, I feel it's a total failure. I just like to share, I'm very concerned about what the potential options are for this coming school year. And I understand that there needs to be a certain amount of importance in discussion about health. However, the education that our children are getting based upon this is also a very huge concern. I'm part of a number of neighbors that are trying to come together to start taking care of each other's children because as working parents, when all of a sudden we were put in positions of our children being home and trying to balance 2 working parents that are not having to take care of our children all day, which creates other strains. And I know there was surveys sent out by the PTA that were asking questions about needs for the school year. I'm hoping at some point those results will be summarized and available to everyone. But the other thing I would ask is that you guys quickly start making some decisions and letting the public know so we can start planning. So we aren't hit with this the same way we were hit with it in the spring. We at least can have weeks or months to try to plan what we're going to do if we're in a position where our children are having to do NTI again, or some form of a hybrid where 2 days, 3 days home from school still creates issues for child care and multiple working parents. And I'm fortunate that my wife and I both work and have some benefits to work with. But I know a lot of parents that are in the position of they're single parents, and this is causing a lot of hardship. So I don't know if this is any agenda for this evening. I know this is the last one of the school board for this meeting for this month, which would mean unless you guys are doing another special meeting to discuss this topic specifically, it'll be August when this gets discussed right before school is about to start. So that was why.
Okay. So I'll be happy to talk to you during the break. We have sent out information on the timeline. I've personally done a video that we watched them, but our timeline right now is to have a plan completed by August 1st and have it approved by our board. So our constituents would have 4 to 5 weeks to prepare. So we will be releasing information I'm good.
Thank you. It's the only public input I have. Most people, item 5, the consent agenda. Make a motion to make the consent agenda, a motion to approve the consent agenda, item A1 through J16. Any questions or discussion?
Under the grant for the Free to Achieve grant, how did those 6 schools get that grant?
That apply was just like that state. Each school has the ability to apply, and state selects those at the state level.
Any other questions or discussion? Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
There's no other questions? Roll call?
Yes. Shannon Harold, yes. Karen Conlon.
Yes.
Jessica Judy. Yes. Carl Whitman.
Yes. Discussion action. Item A, consider approved change order number 03 with Morel Construction for the secure vestibule entrance and other security entrances projects BG 18396.
So this is the third change order for the secure vestibule entrances and other security enhancements projects associated with Morel Construction Company. The original contract with secure vestibule entrances and other security enhancements project was $6,949,983. This change order for the additional $35,450. The previous change orders of $14,119 makes the new contract sum $6,999,552. Item number 1, furnish and install interior access controls and electrified door hardware at Hinsdale for an addition of $48,254. And then we have a deduct for furnished revised walkway canopy structure of $12,804. And I just want to share that this electronic controls is a coveted thing. So basically, teachers will be able to swipe their card and open these doors. The reason that we're asking you to add these to Hinsdale is because, unfortunately, right now, classes are going to have to go through the media center to get into their classrooms. So the media center is being blocked off. If you remember our plans, so there's going to be a wall where it's always been open. And to get into those classrooms, the staff and their classes will have to swipe, go to the media center, and then swipe and go into the classroom. It'll be around the wall, so it really won't impact what's going on. But if we don't do that, then the media, whoever's in the media center is going to stop everything they're doing every time a class goes in or out or a kid goes in and out. So that's the reason for the recommendation. I just want you all to be aware of that. But the physical budgetary impact is $35,450. And the recommendation is that the board approve change order number 3 from Morel Construction associated with secure vestibule entrances and other security enhancement project BG 18396 for an additional $35,450. Be happy to try to answer any questions you have.
Motion to approve.
Any discussion, questions? Roll call?
Karen Conlon.
Yes.
Jessica Judy. Yes. Carl Whitman.
Yes.
Shannon Harold, yes. Carl Whitman.
Yes. Item B, consider approve the one technology implementation plan for Kitten County School District participating schools to include the amendment of district SBDM allocation formula to reduce section 7 funds to participating schools by $32 a child.
So I'll read the history background, and we'll look at the presentation. We have to try to answer the questions you may have. First, let me say I'm really excited to be standing here presenting this to you this evening. A couple of things that happened. One, we talked about this in the past. Honestly, we talked about it in our team for several months, and we were trying to figure out how to make it happen, and we were struggling, trying to figure it out. But then another survey that our team completed was the one that identified we now had over 9,000 devices in our schools. And what we quickly learned was that we didn't have a systemic process from the district level to ensure we were having systemic training, systemic usage of the devices. We really wouldn't provide a lot of guidance or direction or anything around the use of devices. So I went back and re-looked at everything. We had meetings with our principals, had meetings with KCEA, And I'm happy to tell you everybody's on board with what I'm getting ready to share with you. So KCSD, as you know, we are a district of excellence and we're committed to world-class education. COVID-19 really forced us all to take another look. Another thing I learned in the survey we just did for the survey you referenced from our parents, that is going to be released, by the way. Our staff told us that they don't have adequate devices, not 100% of them at school or home. And our parents told us not all of our kids, of those that responded, we had about a 46% response rate, parents, and about 47 staff, 48, something like that, of our 2,000 employees. But we do not have enough devices, even though we have a lot of devices. We have a lot of kids and a lot of staff. So that's another reason we took a look at this. COVID-19 has forced us to do that as well. So the survey, like I just said, indicated we had over 9,000 devices, but we lacked the systemic approach I was talking about with ensuring we were using our technology to the highest efficiency and effectiveness possible for classroom instruction. This presentation I'm going to share with you, I'm honored to tell you we have 17 schools that's willing to take $32 per child of our Section 7 money to provide us this program. And that's pretty impressive, incredible leadership, as I told our principals. So basically, here's what we will be looking at. We obviously are striving to have world-class learning. We know we have incredible infrastructure. We have a lot of instructional technology. We have a lot of software. Professional learning is a tremendous need right now for our school district around the use of technology, and obviously support for going forward as far as building tech teams, empowering and equipping our STCs in our schools, and just having technology leadership all across the district. So thoughts for consideration: a one-to-one initiative would allow easy access to technology and best prepare our students for the 21st century. True student-teacher ownership would create a sense of responsibility and a desire for professional development, excitement to integrate technology within the classroom and home on a consistent basis. Even with COVID-19, this will go away. Hopefully, we will find a vaccine, and hopefully in the next 6-7 months, all of us, I think, are hoping we'll get past this. But technology is not going away. If you look at the job market for the future, a lot of jobs are in the realm of technology. Any job we have nowadays, we have to utilize technology, whether it's writing code or just simply using technology for other initiatives. One-to-one initiative will provide teachers and students with valuable means for assessment on a formative and summative basis. The need to schedule computer lab time or waste unnecessary time using a mobile cart is completely removed. I told our team one of the things that stood out to me, I visited Fort Elementary, I'll never forget it. I go in, there's a substitute teacher in the kindergarten classroom. And when I go into classrooms, I tell teachers to continue, but they always stop. And the substitute looks at me and apologizes. She said, "I apologize. Normally we would be doing technology today, but we're given our MAP assessment, so they have all the technology tied up. We can't use the technology." So that would no longer happen under this scenario. This could allow the phasing out expensive textbook purchases with digital content. Many of our teachers today, as we stand here, use digital content. Many of them reference various resources when teaching content. Daily printing costs and photocopying should be significantly reduced. Enhanced student-teacher collaboration. Enhanced teacher-teacher collaboration. I think we've all learned the possibilities now of collaborating via technology, although it's not always the easiest. And increased student engagement, accountability, and creativity. So this is a model that some districts, I've visited many districts, that's done one-to-one. But the SAMR model, as it's referenced, is here. And this is kind of like the old Bloom's taxonomy of teaching and learning, where you start off with simple substitution all the way up to redefinition of learning. This would enable us to allow students to create. Imagine taking a walk through a museum in Cairo. Just things that are possible, or hooking up with a class in Finland and having conversations about content on a regular basis. I mean, all these things are possible. You can really get up to redefining how we do teaching and learning with one-to-one. So once again, as we talked about the surveys earlier, this is all about systemic growth process. We wouldn't expect everybody to be experts with technology from day one. We're all in this. We are where we are, and we grow to get better. But we would be about building competencies, providing opportunities for practice, high-quality professional learning. Our staff has told us they need training on Google Classroom. That's going to be our LMS, whether we do one-to-one or not. As the gentleman shared earlier, if we have to do online instruction, we need a systemic model for our kids and parents to know, no matter if I've got 3 kids and one's at each school, I don't have to deal with 3 different learning platforms. That's happened to us. That came about from feedback we got from parents. It's really hard when we got 3 different kids, 3 different schools using 3 different learning platforms. Fostering a growth mindset through technology based programs to fuel student achievement. Leveraging the power of networks. You know, we can do some pretty cool vertical articulation utilizing technology, never have to leave our buildings. Potential instructional topics, Google Classroom, digital content, driver's license. Our students are really good with technology. They're just not great all the time at using technology for instruction. And that was clearly stated again in our survey that our staff just took. I mean, it was word for word just about what I just said. And of course, I mentioned the SAMR model. And this is referenced in this picture here. Once again, it's just reiterating that our kids are really good with social technology, but they don't always use the technology for education purposes. And then when they go on to post-secondary learning opportunities, a lot of times they become heavily reliant on technology that not always we've done a really good job getting them ready for that. This would change that. So how would we support this? There would be a building coaching model just to provide world-class professional development with utilizing technology to enhance learning. We would utilize a trainer-trainer model. We are large. We have to use trainer-trainer models. We would have a systemic approach to that. Leadership training to support guide world-class instruction. No matter how many people we train, if our leaders aren't on board and trained and equipped to give good feedback, which is another area that we continue to work on in our school district, then it would not be successful. Our district tech team and school level student tech teams. One of the districts I visited a few years ago in Mooresville, North Carolina, the students were replacing glass and computers. They were doing virtually everything with computers. They were fixing, and then they were getting certifications at the same time. They were graduating with Microsoft certification, Apple certification. They were getting all these certifications, and this was their area of strength. So here's the proposal. We would provide devices. So when you look at the research on this and you visit, it's got to be physically do it, financially, physically responsible, and it's also got to be done in a way where we can provide support. It would be impossible. I couldn't stand here as superintendent school district and tell you we can train all 2,000 or all 1,000 teachers next year. You count teachers administrators. But I can tell you, if we break that up by grade levels and do 3 grade levels every single year, we can train effectively. And we can have a model to where we implement this with fidelity. And we can ensure we grow instructionally. And that's what we're proposing. We would buy devices grades 1, 6, and 9 every single year. The beauty of this model in this district, by year 2, we would be 1-to-1 because we already have so many devices. This model ensures the following effective systemic professional development. By year 2, everybody be 1-to-1, or virtually most of the schools, and I'll show you that. And this model is physically solvent and efficient and can be sustained. If we try to buy 14,000 or 13,000 devices once every 4 years, you're talking about $3.5 million every 4 years. It's just not sustainable. So basically what we did, our team done a survey, and you see the percentage of devices at schools as we sit here today. You can see some of our schools have done a phenomenal job purchasing technology. Our high is Fort Wright with 100%. They're 1-to-1. And she said, why would I want to be part of this? I'm going to brag on her. She's a visionary leader. She said, I'm going to start replacing devices. Because I'm going to tell you, the other thing, our schools, they've been doing a really good job of purchasing devices, but we really don't have a replacement plan. So when they get old, there's no plan to how we replace those right now. So you can see our lows 18% or 15%, and our highs 100%. So we pretty much round we got the high and the low. Our elementaries average about 70%. Our middle schools average about 43%. Our high schools average about 37%. Now, one of the things I want to point out to you that one of the reasons I'm standing here tonight is continuity of instruction is important in what we do. In a world-class system, I would argue that continuity of instruction is huge. In this district, just looking at this page alone, what I can tell you is when kids leave elementaries, they are less likely to be exposed to technology at the middle and high than they ever were in elementary. So theoretically, I could be using technology quite frequently in my learning, leave and get used to that, leave elementary school, I may not touch it again. And you can see the percentages go down. It depends on where I go to school and what the focus is. So You always believe all kids should have equitable access and opportunity. So we put together what this would look like if we do this at the end of year one implementation, where my cursor is here. You can see, for example, Beech Grove would go from 18% to 42% at the end of year one. They would go from 42 to 66 at the end of year two. And I think they were our second lowest in the district. But here's what I want to share with you. Right now, elementary, we're 70%, if you can see my cursor there. At the end of year two, would be 114%. They could take those devices and surplus them, the ones that's old, they need to get rid of, or they could push them down to their kindergarten, preschool, or we could surplus those and allow students to buy them. So there's lots of different things we can do with that. So you would see every one of the elementaries, with the exception of one after year two, would be over 100%. The middle schools would be 108%, and the high school would be 103% after year two. So the second year of this program pretty much would be 1-to-1. So what would be the estimated annual cost? This was based on actual enrollment allocation numbers sent to schools for next year. You can see it's approximately $1 million a year. And yes, that is a huge commitment. But I'm going to tell you, we're already spending. Here's another thing that got me on this. The reason I'm standing here for you today, I'm reviewing the budget with Susan. And I asked her a question about this code. I said, what kind of technology are we buying this $600,000 a year? That's where we got on our schools were buying all these devices. So they're already doing it. Our schools are already spending over $600,000 a year on devices. So by the district helping our schools, they're going to spend less money on devices. It's just going to be spread out. But this would also be doing something right now that we're not doing, would be providing computers for teachers in grades 1, 6, and 9 every year too. So we go 1, 6, 9, 2, 7, 10, 3, right on up. Teachers get devices theirs rotate out like everybody else's. And one of the things we saw in the survey is, and we'll be sharing this with you when we share our plan, a lot of our teachers don't have adequate devices with a camera and microphone to go home and do that NTI, as he was referencing earlier. So that's a problem, a big problem. So we think this is the way that we can help next year. And then just if we ever get in a situation again, we'll be more prepared because we'll be 1-to-1. So here's how we would recommend paying for it. The district would provide $466,000 roughly a year, up to $500,000. Schools would provide $450,000, and that's based on the allocation change of $32 per student, Section 7, which I'm still very impressed with our leadership for being willing to do that. And a student fee of $50 per student, and this is students not counting free or reduced lunch. And 2 reasons that I would recommend a fee. One, the schools I visited, students pay a fee, they're more apt to take care of it. And 2, I'm going to work with David and Rob and see if we can't do this to where students pay a fee, $50 a year. When we surplus it, we can give them that device. So basically, if I'm a parent, I pay $50 a year for 4 years. My kid leaves middle, go to high. That's now their device. So I can take that home. The other thing that I would share with you that really got me spent a lot of time thinking about this is during NTI, we had feedback where parents said, yeah, I've got a computer or I've got 2 computers, but I'm working from home and I got 3 kids. So we're 2 devices short. So that's another issue that we've been dealing with. That's the reason for the student fee, the ownership, and Dave will have to look at this. I know some districts have done this in other states. We'll have to look at Kentucky. But I do believe there's a way we can surplus these and provide them to the kids. And you can see the actual cost. When we broke this down for the schools, I'll give you an example. I will use Summit View. Summit View is a school. Right here, you can see my cursor. They spend a lot of money on technology every single year. They will actually save $10,000 a year by entering this program. Actually save. Our biggest school in the district is Simon Kenton. It will only cost them $15,000 more than they're already averaging for devices. So that's the reason they said yes. When we broke it down to them this way, so you can see right where my cursor is, over a 4-year period, Simon Kenton High School averages spending about $42,000 on devices. So it sounds like a lot of money for them, but it's not. It's just a little bit above what they're already doing. So I know that's a lot really fast. So I'll be happy to entertain any questions you may have. I'm presenting this. I'm gonna tell you what I told our principals and our team. Normally, we would never move this quickly. We've been talking about this a long time. But with the uncertainty of the fall, my recommendation tonight is for us to consider this tonight so we can get moving on ordering another however many thousand devices. So I'll be happy to entertain any questions you may have.
And so, looking at the numbers we have, elementary, still many in elementary, middle school numbers, are we going to be purchasing the same devices across the board? And so that as they learn to use them in middle school?
So that's the other big point. So one of our principals said, BYOD, bring your own device. I've researched this. The problem with that is what you just said. The teachers got to, not only do the kids have to know different devices, the teachers have to know different devices. This way, the kid would enter first grade, use a device, and have that same device when they graduate. Now, if your child wants to take a MacBook Pro, fine. But we're going to use this device, if that makes sense. The teachers would have the same device. It would just be upgraded with the touchscreen. Another thing I want to share with you, the reason this is a little bit more expensive, the $293, David Chris gave me this cost, the price. This also includes the insurance. So kid drops it, breaks it, they replace it, free. We bust a screen, they replace it. Screens are about $90 a piece. It's going to happen. But I will tell you, it will happen less than you think, because I've been through this. This also builds in a 5% contingency. So every school would have an additional 5% computers. If you break yours, we're not stopping instruction. But while we send yours off, we're going to give you one. That's student and staff, 5% contingency across the district.
So when I see it, little students, even on my first grade, when I would help them, there would be another student had an issue with the computer. There were some like designated students who would stop over and help them work through what they need to work through. So for our schools who have not been close to one-to-one or near to that, how are we going to be training the students to kind of, I know that's part of the goal, is kind of have students who can help in the classroom. What is our plan there?
So we will be getting more formal on that if the board approves this tonight. But I will tell you, we've been having a conversation with Chris and our instructional team. We want to revitalize our STLP programs. Right now, they're kind of dormant. We're not really doing much with them. I don't know why, but I know Chris is already on that. We want to revitalize our STLP program, use our Student Technology Leadership Program to empower them to have student tech teams that work on devices, student tech teams that help support devices. We have kids going all over this county doing internships when some of the very best technology internships could be in our schools doing what you're talking about. And we have a lot of technology companies in the region too where we can partner with through all of this. But yes, absolutely, empowering our kids is the only way we can do it successfully because there's way more of them. And frankly, a lot of them know more than a lot of us about technology.
Do I hear a motion?
I move that we approve. Second.
Any other questions or discussion? Roll call?
Jessica James?
Yes.
Karen Collins?
Yes.
Carla Beacon?
Yes.
Shannon Harrell? Yes. Carl Rickman?
Yes.
I did mine. We do. So there will just not be any more of these big computers in the buildings.
So the recommendation will be over time, we would phase all of them out.
Classrooms if they don't get all of them this year.
Within 4 years, the only people that would have labs is somebody that just has a surplus.
Item C, receive recommendations from the superintendent and calendar committee for a revised 2020-2021 school calendar, replace the previously approved 2020-2021 school calendar.
Thank you, Mr. President. The calendar committee was appointed on March 2nd, 2020 board meeting. The committee has developed and attached a recommendation to revise the calendar for the approved 2021 school calendar. This draft revised calendar is based on the criteria listed in the school calendar policy. This draft revised calendar is based on a change from 177 instructional days to 175. the district will utilize NTI days for any weather days accumulated up to 10 before any days need to be made up. This draft revised calendar has approval of the leadership of the Kenton County Education Association, our principals. I asked our principals to share this with their school teams. They did. I received no information back from any principal that any teachers were not supportive of this recommendation. So basically, what we would be doing, which I think is exciting, I want to commend Tom for doing a wonderful job. We asked him to create numerous calendars. He done a wonderful job. The calendar committee, which I know Karen sits on, for meeting multiple times. But basically what we're doing is backing the start date up until the 24th. Is that correct? First day of school. This puts us in congruence with the vote dot bill, which was passed a few years ago legislation wise. And this enables us to some flexibility if so needed during the school year, regardless of legislative action. So for example, there's language in there that says if we start this day, we don't have, if we do have to go to NTI or some other model, there is a chance that we can increase instructional minutes and go to school fewer days because, 40 some days or whatever it was last year at NTI is not ideal. The reduction of the 2 days is to bring us more in line with the 10 largest school districts in Kentucky. I crunched that data. Tom got me the numbers. I crunched it. We would still be above the state average by 5 days. We'd be above the 10 largest school districts average by about 2 days. And that's all in here in the state of Kentucky. We were going significantly more days than anybody in Kentucky. So the big exciting piece of this though is teachers will have 2 days every year, assuming we consider thinking about this concept, to plan, organize, and be ready for the start of school. And I would tell you there's probably no school year that's needed more than this year because we have a lot of trainings around. I think I was reading through the documents today. I think we have 4 or 5 required trainings that teachers have to do. All employees have to do, whether it's cleaning, the appropriate ways to clean. We have to do videos, have to sign off. So it just gives us those days for that. So the end time will be the same. The only other change, start would back up from Wednesday to Monday. And the only other change, we would be in school the Monday before election day where we had off. That's the only 2 changes. Instructional minutes wise, every school in the school district would start 10 minutes later. Every school. 2 things I heard when I came here the first week. We need more career pathways. I'm happy to tell you we got about 30 now. And the second thing I got hit with was we start school later. Well, 10 minutes is not a lot, but every school would start 10 minutes later, and we removed the 1 minute increments. That's the only other change to stop it. So, for example, elementaries was getting out at 3:31. I asked our team, nobody could tell me why that was, so we fixed that. Every school in the district would start at the same time and get out the same time as their level. So I'd be happy to entertain any questions you may have about the school calendar.
Let's hope it holds.
Yeah, obviously we don't know. I mean, we could get pushed back or who knows.
Resolution approved.
So moved.
This is just a receipt. We're just receiving it today.
Jeremy, under this scenario, would it be possible for the board to declare an emergency and waive that because we'd like to be able to give our constituents adequate time as he talked earlier? So could we ask the board to amend their motion, Jeremy, to?
The motion.
So moved.
Is the motion so amended? And the second.
We still just have to know that anything can happen.
Absolutely.
It would be a official motion, then we'll read. We declare an emergency and approving after 1 reading.
To waive the second reading.
Wait a second reading and approve it at this reading because of the time frame of this construction.
We'll notify all of our parents and constituents tomorrow.
That's good with the person who made the motion in a second, correct? Any other questions? Roll call.
Carla Egan.
Yes.
Karen Hill.
Yes.
Karen Collins,
Yes.
Jessica Means,
Yes.
Roy Whitman.
Yes. Need a motion to make the agenda and the attachments part of the official board record.
So move.
Second,
Roll call.
Karen Collins,
Yes.
Jessica Means,
Yes.
Robert Eden,
Yes.
Shannon Hill, yes, Roy Whitman.
Yes. Other business from board members? Staff, teachers? Dr. Webb?
So I'll just bring the board up to date on where we are, so you can hear this now too, sir, and we'll be happy to answer your questions after break. As you know, per our timeline, our goal is to have our plan completely finished, understanding things may change by August 1st. We hope within the next 10 days to have it significantly where it needs to be. We've already started communicating weekly with our principals about what they will need to be doing to start working on. We received additional guidance today from KDE, but we now have our survey in our hand and the vast majority of all guidance needed to put this plan together. We've got about a 4-hour meeting scheduled tomorrow, and I will tell you the pace is going to pick up immensely. We got the necessary pieces of guidance that we needed last week on Wednesday. So everybody's back in the office. We're rolling. We'll get this done. We'll get it out quick to our constituents. We'll let them know this week. We've already talked about this, where we are in the process.
If I could add that, the other piece too, well, there's like 12 that guidance documents. And that's turning into a district guidance document that we're giving schools guidance, but then obviously at the local school level, depending on your needs, whether you're trying to get more than 200 students or higher, or whatever the situation may be, each school is making a school-specific guidance document that articulates to staff, to parents, how they're going to do arrival and dismissal, or what class change might look like based on the guidance that we're getting. So every school will have a very specific plan as it relates to their work.
Thank you. Nothing else from anybody else. I thank all of you for coming out tonight, getting started back in live meetings. If anybody out there watching online, we appreciate you being online, participating in the meeting. If you are online and you have any questions, forward those to Dr. Webb at his email address here at the school. Before we go into the next item on the agenda, we're going to go to school. Everybody's going to pick up their little mask and they're going to put it over their face. So you can get out of school today. You can. And then we'll move to a motion to go into closed executive session pursuant to KRS 61810 1B, land acquisition, C litigation, and personnel, people, personnel.
So move.
Roll call.
Karen Collins,
Yes.
Robert Eden,
Yes.
Shannon Hill,
Yes.
Jessica Means,
Yes.
Roy Whitman.
Yes. Thank you all for attending.
All right, you can have your first thing.
You know what?